David took another L. That's pretty typical of David thus far in the season. Just L after L after L after L after L after L. Boys will not be back until tomorrow. This will be a commissioner-only video. We have 3 things on the agenda today. We are going to be 1, talking about our Week 19 bets. 2, talk about the drama that has occurred throughout the league, throughout the first half of the season. And then 3, we're going to do our mid-season recap, talk about what has happened over the season thus far. So let's get into it. Our Week 19 of bets: Novak Djokovic versus Nick Kyrgios, which was the Wimbledon final. Novak took the title with a $2.5 million purse. Nick Kyrgios, not too shabby, with $1.3 million as the runner-up. I took an L. I bet $10 on the Kyrgios money line. Matt chose Kyrgios to win 3-1. He took the L there. Carter had a live bet. He bet just a little bit into the match, so he got worse odds at plus 240. But he did get the win. He won $72, so he won the most money in Week 19. This put him in first place, so that really shook up the rankings. David took another L. That's pretty typical of David thus far in the season. Just L after 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 L. And then Eric, he took an L. Hasn't been doing well lately. I would say like 4 or 5 of the last weeks has been taking L's. Jared, this bet actually got him into the positives. So a lot of bets this week shook up the rankings. I would say for myself and Eric, it shook up the rankings the least amount just because we only went down $10. But let's get into the rankings through Week 19. If you take a look there, Barter is in first with 61.51. I am in second. Eric is in third. Jared's in fourth, just crept up into that 4th spot. Matt's in 5th. And then David is in 6th place. L after L after L after L after L after penalty after penalty L. Anyways, let's get into weeks at number 1. You take a look. Matt has dominated this category. He's had a super successful season thus far, but has really struggled as of late. So we'll see what happens as the rankings progress throughout the season. I got that one sole week at the end of week 18 with being in first place. Eric has had a nice streak. He's had 6 weeks at number 1. And then Barter is our most recent number 1 player. He had last week and is going in with a $40 lead. So I'm liking his chances to repeat after week 20. So with every GOAT, there is also a SOAT. David, 13 weeks in last place. An absolute atrocity to the league. 2 penalties, just absolutely devastating. Honestly, the main drama is David refusing to put in bets when he needs to. I understand that he is an independent contractor of the league, but bets must be placed. So if you do remember, in week 14 or 15, I can't remember which one, we did put a public announcement out. We are looking for a recurring guest. So if you are interested, potentially being on, probably taking a ton of L's because you guys are amateurs and I mean, we're super good. So probably going to be worse than David if that is even possible. If there's one word to describe David through this week 19, is unpredictably predictable. He's so unpredictable, but it's predictable that he's unpredictable. So it's kind of just puts your head in a blunder. But anyways, that's the main drama with the first week 19. He has took 2 penalties through week 19, just didn't put a bet in. Like, what? I don't want any excuses. I know you're going to come up with some good excuses, but we have 4 other guys that consistently put in bets. So we have to acknowledge that he had 2 penalties. Carter, you are not to get away with this one as well. You took that L. I know you have a little bit better of an excuse than David, but to each their own. Penalty canceled. You will not be getting that back. The more I've thought about it, no way, Jose. David, again, besides the penalties, just taking L's. There has to be a respectability factor if you are to compete at the highest league, like Tennis with Ike. The Tennis with Ike Degen League is one of the premier leagues in the world. We can't have someone who has been taking L after L after L after L after L after L in our league. We have to have a respectability factor. If you look at Matt, he has took 6 or 7 L's out of his last 8, which is pretty much a travesty. But if you shift in the rankings at weeks at number 1, Matt has had an incredible first start to the season, 10 weeks at number 1. He is almost in the GOAT debate in our league. I would argue he probably is the GOAT in our league. I would say right now it's looking pretty bleak, and I would say you might have to tip the cap to Eric in this category. I think you could argue Carter is probably in that category as well. Has had some absolutely massive bets hit. I would say I'm 4th, Jared 5th, and then David definitely the last. We actually have an acronym for that as well. So weeks in last place, David, 13 weeks in last place. This isn't going to change. Like, it just won't. Like, this will be consecutive, I would say 40 or 50 straight weeks in last place. I just don't see how this just doesn't change. Yeah, let's wrap it up there.